Hey everybody, welcome back. Right now we got a story from the Charlotte Dobre YouTube subreddit and it is a doozy. Strap yourself in. I broke up with my fiance a week before the wedding and now his family won't leave me alone. I am in desperate need for advice and I am in desperate need to give advice at all times. I insert myself in many places. That didn't sound right. I cannot really talk to those in my family or my friends as they are very angry on my behalf and want me to scorch the earth and burn all the bridges. Burn your bridges. I cannot really talk to those in my family or my friends as they are very angry on my behalf and want me to scorch the earth and burn all the bridges. I met my now ex about 3 years ago. I was 22 and he was 27. We got along really well at first, and we stayed friends for a while. It wasn't until the very end of 2023 that we decided to go on a date. It was more of a joke date because we had a few friends that kept trying to push us together. However, being by myself with him that night really changed how I looked at him. We spent hours talking and laughing at dinner. I felt like we connected on a different level. We spoke about what we wanted for our futures and they almost completely aligned. We started going on several dates a week after that. Some just to coffee shops or walks in the park with our dogs, others to nice restaurants or movies, etc. Okay, going well. I say all this to show that the relationship was always easy, fun, and happy. We had very few disagreements, and those we did not have were not about serious topics. It breaks my heart knowing that he was lying to me the whole time. We got engaged in May. I know it was fast, but it felt right, and planned our wedding for the last week of February. I'm a Mexican and he is Indian, so we planned a traditional Mexican wedding for the 23rd, and the rest of the week we were going to the big parties and the ceremonies following his family's traditions. 4 days ago, on Valentine's morning, I was approached by my ex's cousin at my home. I was finishing packing when she knocked on my door. We sat on the floor since all my furniture had been moved, with coffee, and started talking. We'd been very close since before I started dating my ex, and the engagement just brought us closer. After some small talk, she told me she had something serious and difficult to discuss with me. Oh God. Oh no. I'm worried. Oh no. I hope it's not what I think it is. The fact that his cousin is coming to you and spilling the tea on him means he f***ed up. She wanted me to listen to a voice recording of my now ex and a family gathering of his. I was unable to attend due to work commitments. In this recording, he was bragging about a case he had a few years ago. He sounded drunk, and he was telling whoever he was with to not say anything to me. As I listened longer, he let details about this case slip, and it became apparent he was talking about a case that I was sued in. In 2020, I rear-ended a truck who slammed on their brakes while we were coming to a red light. I wasn't paying proper attention and hit the truck's back bumper. We were going less than 10 miles an hour when it happened, and the truck had one scratch above the license plate as a result. I called my insurance and reported the accident. Within an hour, I was being told by my insurance that the driver of the truck had retained a lawyer and were claiming there were 5 people in the truck and all had serious injuries. This is not going where I thought it was going. Okay. I'm open. The couple that were actually in the truck didn't know we had a lot of mutual friends who they bragged to. They bragged to those mutual friends that they were going to get all the money that they could because I looked rich, and openly admitted to those friends all the lies they were claiming, which included the amount of people in the car, all the injuries, and that their lawyer insisted on claiming injuries and emotional trauma from the accident. So wait, your fiance knew all of this and didn't tell you? I hate it. Thanks, I hate it. I was also told by these mutual friends that their lawyer had given them my address and phone number, which led to harassing phone calls, messages, and people parking in front of my driveway, blocking my car in. There was much more, but then this post would be much longer than it already is. It was terrifying and emotionally exhausting. It did not end until a few of those friends told me they would volunteer to be witnesses in court if needed. I called my insurance and spoke with the investigator assigned to my case and let him know everything with my friend's permission. Within a week, the case was settled and they got a payout. My insurance rate almost doubled. The whole situation from the accident to settlement lasted almost an entire year. It was exhausting, frustrating, and horrible. I now know that their lawyer was my ex-fiance. Oh, girl. You said that your family and friends want to scorch the earth for you. I also second that. Were you together at this point? He knew all of this. So he's not only unethical, but he lied to you, put you through emotional trauma, and committed fraud. Oh, absolutely not. Je téléphone à la police. The law firm which handled the case was owned by my ex-fiance, which he relocated and renamed before we met. Okay. Almost immediately after the case closed. But he knew who you were. According to the voice recording, he apparently knew who I was not long after we first met. Knowing he pushed those people to harass me, to lie, and to try to get me to pay them on the side broke my heart. I asked his cousin how she got the recording, and she told me she was there. And when she realized the situation he was talking about, she began recording on her phone. Ooh, this guy sounds like he needs to go to jail. Like, this is so bad. This is bad, dude. At that moment, I felt as though the floor was ripped out from under me. I even thought about forgiving him until she showed me the messages between my ex-fiance and her. She confronted him about it the next day, and instead of being remorseful, he threatened her and said he would reveal her previous drinking problem to her husband. This dude sounds very scary. Very, very, very scary. He sounds like someone that twists the law and like uses his knowledge to like fuck people over. I gave up on the relationship in that moment, as you should. That's really messed up. That's really, really messed up. And to think that he like went on a date with you and carried on a relationship and then proposed to you, all the while knowing that this is what he put you through. I'm surprised you didn't put 2 and 2 together before this, honestly. I guess he did change the name. I couldn't believe what I was reading, but I confirmed it was his number, and the time was when he was with me on a lunch date. I recall he had been on his phone a lot throughout the day and was a little more irritable that day. I broke off the engagement the next day. I went to his house with my brother, cousins, dad, and uncles to get all my stuff and moved back to my house while I spoke with him. I wanted to know why he did what he did years ago and why he would let our relationship get this far. I didn't get any meaningful answers. He just kept repeating himself, saying he loves me. He didn't think it was a big deal and I should be able to forgive him. This is definitely a lesson because like, I just feel like everything he did was so unethical, and he used his like, me big strong lawyer, me scare you attitude to like take advantage of someone and then start dating that person. Like, oh my God. Oh, absolutely not. I gave him his ring back and told him no, it was over. I called his parents immediately after I left and I told them what happened and why. I explained that nothing they would say would allow me to trust their son again. They were quiet on the phone and didn't say much. I went home and cried. Oh, girl. My sister and mother handled canceling what they could of the things I paid for. All was quiet until yesterday. His whole family had been calling me, messaging me, emailing me, and showing up at my house to try and convince me to get back with him. I mean, at this point, like, they should be happy that you're not going to the police. Forget getting back with him. This can't be legal. Like, I'm sorry, but what he did, that has to be unethical. I feel like he could get disbarred. Don't quote me on that, but the fact that you have a recording of him admitting that and bragging about it, I know lawyers who have been caught committing fraud for much less and sentenced to 25 years in jail. I don't know them personally. I've heard of them. I spent an entire 24 hours trying to convince myself I can move on and stay with him before I called my dad and asked him to help me move my stuff. However, the onslaught of messages, phone calls, and now his visits have been a lot to handle. I don't know what to do at this point. I'm exhausted, overwhelmed, and I feel like crying every 5 minutes. Maybe I've made a hasty decision. No, you haven't. I think that you made a very good decision for you. For you. This person lied to you, and it makes you think, like, what kind of person would, like, do that to somebody else? This lawyer is not ethical. And then lie to you and then start a relationship with you knowing that he did that. I can't see myself trusting him again. Yeah, you can't. And I can't see him as the same man with the good morals I fell in love with. Oh my goodness. I don't know, man. Like, you definitely should not get back with this person. Like, you will never be able to trust him again. I think that, like, it might be a lot, but change your number. Get a new phone number. Move. His whole family's being very pushy. He's being very pushy. And, like, you have every right to end the relationship over this. Like, 100%. This is, like, such a huge betrayal. I know it's a pain in the ass. Change your contact info. Get a restraining order. No contacts. Like,
move on.
If it continues, get a restraining order. You absolutely made the right call. What a bitch. I bet it gave him such an ego boost, knowing how he manipulated you before you met and continued to do so once you entered a relationship. Why would you want to get in a relationship with someone who obviously enjoys inflicting pain on someone? Yeah, it's like the bragging for me. Like, it's like the openly talking about it with someone at a party around people that could tell you. Like, that is just like, he clearly did not feel bad about it at all. He's like,
flexing my lawyer chops. I'm such a good lawyer that I f***ed over my fiance. Yeah.
said no coherent and kind person ever. Like, f off.
Get out of here.
Report his unprofessional behavior to the state bar. I'm literally serious. Like, I'm pretty sure that he can get disbarred over this. Definitely do that, because you are likely not the first person he's done this to, and you won't be the last. Innocent people could lose their whole livelihoods because your ex has clients blatantly lying and wouldn't have any qualms with them doing it in court. He's not who you thought he was, and you should thank his cousin daily. His cousin is like really saved you in all of this. Imagine a divorce with kids. He would make your life a living hell. Oh my God, I didn't even think of that. Oh my God, imagine having to okay, so let's say you go through with this marriage. He starts to reveal himself more and more, okay? He starts to use his little lawyer knowledge to make you feel trapped. You eventually try to leave. And then knowing that you have this kind of person who manipulates the law like this on the other end, that is scary. That is scary to me. And he has a personal vendetta against you. Okay, we do have an update. Thank you so much to those of you who've given advice and kind words. It's been helpful, and I was not expecting this many responses. I can't respond to everyone, so I want to say thank you. Last night when I posted, I was emotional and a little lost on what to do. I woke up this morning and decided to take action. Yes! I would like to address a few things I've read in the comments. First one is, I didn't make the connection of him being that specific lawyer by name because all communication between my insurance company and his lawyer that I was privy to only showed the lawyer's last name, such as Mr. Last Name. And my ex-fiance's last name is one of the most common last names in his culture. I never Googled anything because the accident happened right before COVID shutdowns in our area. And as I was doing my schooling and training as a pediatric nurse, my life was insane at the time. When I met my ex, I recognized the last names were the same, but the law firms were in different cities and had different names, so I never gave it a second thought. Second, we were not together during those events caused by the accident. We didn't know each other. We didn't meet until 2022, almost 3 months before I turned 23. And the car accident case was closed in very early 2021. Third, from what I understand, he was born in the US but grew up in India and got his law degree there before moving back to the US and went through the process of getting an LLM and then state boards. Then his parents gave him money to set up his law firm. I knew all this before we began dating. I just assumed he was speaking about his current law firm. And no, I haven't ever looked into it deeper. I just took what he's told everyone in our group as the truth. Based on the date of the accident, he was 25 when the accident happened, and the case was closed before he turned 26. Never went to court because, as I was told by my insurance, there was a lack of evidence. I wasn't told the particulars of their injuries in order to not prevent any HIPAA allegations. I was only told of the general nature of the injuries being claimed, back pain and emotional trauma. My insurance paid them a small portion of my liability limit because the accident was my fault, and I believe that they were just trying to close the case. But again, I was told there was no evidence to back up their claims. Ooh, see, this is the thing. This is the thing about having a lawyer. Most people cannot afford to go to court. It's definitely a power play to get a lawyer involved because most people, it's it was her fault, maybe if she went to court, they would have witnesses and all this stuff. And yes, there was no evidence, but at the same time, you still have to go to court and pay for that, which could be tens of thousands of dollars. So the solution really, a lot of the time, if you can't afford to go to court, is just to settle. But then you're also kind of admitting fault in that regard. The court also becomes very public, and it's a very emotionally exhausting experience to go to court. And a lot of people just kind of throw in the towel, and they don't. But her ex knows that. I then met my ex a few days after his 27th birthday. If I'm remembering a particular conversation correctly, he said he was 24 when he received his license to practice law. Fourth, I have spoken with his cousin. She says her and her husband are fine. She spoke to him before speaking with me because, as she put it, he knew she was an alcoholic, which is why she never drinks. But he never asked or pushed her about the details of her life before he met her. Okay, that's good. I guess he didn't have any ammo anymore. The ex didn't have any ammo. So I guess she told him everything my ex-fiance could hold over her head and told him what her cousin threatened. Yeah, that is a full-on threat. This dude is just committing crimes left, right, and center.
He was special.
She sent me the voice recording and screenshots of text messages. She's assured me she and her family will be fine. She also informed me that his parents paid for all his schooling as well as covering the rent for his current and previous office space, the cost to change the name of his law firm, and the startup cost for his law firm, which she believes is the reason why they're heavily pushing for us to get back together so they don't lose out on their, as that she puts it, investment in their son. Ooh, that makes a lot of sense. Because like, if they can convince you to get back with this guy, they can also kind of like, I don't think that they care about mending your relationship. I think they care more about the fact that you could very easily go to the bar association and get him disbarred for what he did. So they're very worried about that. And like, you know, if they convince you to get back with him, you know, like you're his spouse, so you don't testify against him. Like, you know, there's other motivations there. They all came to the conclusion, which is why you're getting bombarded with everyone at once, that it's better for them as a family and better for their son if they kind of like smooth things over and get you guys to continue on. Since yesterday, I have decided to kick my butt into gear and stop feeling sorry for myself. Thank God. Bury him. Not literally. I mean in legal fees. Thank you to those who made it clear to me that the relationship was never what I thought it was. I didn't realize it, but up until yesterday, I was thinking of my ex in the same light as I thought of him during our relationship. I now truly realize that man never existed. He was not showing me himself, but a reflection of what I wanted in a partner. I've spoken to my family who've traveled to the town I'm currently living in for the wedding, and they agreed I should move back home. Change your number, move away. I've also reached out to a few law firms, and I'm waiting to hear back to set up appointments, period. This could work out in your favor, babes. Like, I know this is like kind of like what you thought your life was going to be, but like, maybe you could get a nice old little nest egg. I want to know what the legalities in reporting him to the state bar, and I will be pursuing restraining orders on all those I can. I've also spoken with my work and direct supervisor, and they agreed to lessen my hours to part-time since I've found coverage for about half my shifts until already scheduled PTO starts. I can't with good conscience leave as there's a shortage of nurses in my area, so I'm giving my work time to find a replacement. Also, this is my first official job as a pediatric nurse with the title, and I don't want to end it badly. I would also like to have a good letter of recommendation from them after I move. I do have some cameras around my house, but my dad went to Costco this morning to buy some more, and my landlord has agreed with letting my dad install them. My sister and mother have also spoken to me about slowing down with how I plan my life and standing up for myself. I admit I do not like conflict and tend to avoid it as much as possible, even when it infringes on my well-being. Yeah, but you're right in this scenario, babe. Like, you're the victim here. Let's turn some lemons into limoncello. I tend to get this unpleasantly hot feeling all over my body, and I get very nauseous when I have to deal with confrontation. However, thanks to you Redditors and my family, I will deal with my situation head on as I cannot see another way to resolve this. I no longer believe his family will back off or calm down unless confronted with legal repercussions, and I will try my best not to cower away from the conflict. I will update after speaking to a lawyer. Again, thank you to those who commented. I truly appreciate it. So, Affectionate End 4506, I really want to thank you for sharing this story. I was not expecting it to go in this direction. I'm so sorry that that happened to you. I know it must feel like just absolute betrayal. And I know that when you feel like betrayed and you find out something that you didn't know about someone, there's like this period of time where you go back and you think of like all the times where you saw red flags. And it's like you get re-traumatized like over and over and over again. You might go back to specific conversations and wonder, if I had been paying attention, that would have made sense. Or if I knew, that would have made sense. I know this is probably very, very difficult because you probably pictured your life with this person. Like, I mean, he's a lawyer. You guys had this amazing romance. Like, you probably thought he was like the perfect guy. I mean, it's very, very clear, like, that this person really should not be a lawyer. Lawyers are supposed to be ethical. They are supposed to uphold the law. They're supposed to really do everything that they can to prevent themselves and you as a client from breaking any laws, because otherwise they're committing fraud, right? Like, they take oaths. This dude does not deserve to be a lawyer. Like, I'm sorry, he doesn't. It sounds like you have an amazing support system around you, and it sounds like, you know, his cousin is on your side. The family that's trying to get you guys back together is not getting you guys back together because they like the relationship. They're just serving their own self-interests. But hey, you got a really strong case here. I ain't a lawyer, But this can't be allowed. There's no way this is allowed. I'm sorry, it's not. When you report him to the bar association, he's absolutely gonna lose his scheisse. So brace for that. Prepare for all allegations that you are just a bitter ex. I mean, there will be allegations unless he loses. I would include all that information about your personal relationship and the timeline as an FYI for the investigators to circumvent that allegation. Listen, like I said before, court battles, if it does eventually go to court, are very emotionally taxing. And most of the time, like maybe he'll go to the press or maybe he'll get his family and friends to harass you. You can't falter. You can't, because like it's all gonna come out in discovery. This is something they should take seriously, as his own voice is disclosing the unethical things he did should be sufficient to open an investigation. We are proud of you. Be safe and take care. Just hold your head high, gather all the evidence, take all the screenshots, timestamps, everything. Guess who just grew a shiny new spine? Congratulations on your new plan. I'm happy you're with your family. I'm also proud of you. It's not easy to take those steps, but again, he deserves it. OP, I feel for you not liking confrontation. I have similar reactions to stress and conflict, as do I. I have a very, very hard time dealing with stress and conflict. But this isn't just conflict. Like, you were hurt financially over this. You were betrayed. You were manipulated. Like, this is not just like a little conversation that you gotta have to confront somebody. This is someone who like really took advantage of you, and you didn't deserve that. Teach him a lesson. Please keep us updated, OP. I can't wait to hear how it goes. I know it's gonna take months, maybe even years, but I got a good feeling about this.
Subscribe!